We're about to enter into the Montefiore Mausoleum. This is where Sir Moses and Lady Judith were laid to rest. It was intentionally built just steps away from their beloved synagogue. And the building itself tells a bit, I think, of the story of why we're even in Ramsgate. For those of you who've kind of seen old pictures from Israel, you'll know that the construction of the mausoleum looks like the tomb of Rachel, Kever Rachel. And that was a place that was very important to Lady Judith. They visited Bethlehem and Kever Rachel when they first visited Israel. Immediately set out to say, we must restore it. And so it was restored. But one of the kind of important elements to that story is the question around infertility. Lady Judith hadn't had any children. She was, already kind of her later 30s by then, and we know that during that visit there, obviously Rachel dies in childbirth, right? So having children was not something that had been easy for her either. And so there was a tradition about praying for children at Kever Rachel, and she actually had a Kabbalistic amulet that was given to her on that visit, hopefully to be a blessing that the Montefiores should be blessed with children. Fortunately, they weren't, and I surmise that that's part of the story. They come back to England. It's clear, within, shortly thereafter that they're not going to have any children, and they decide, we're going to get a beautiful country house, I'm going to build my own synagogue, I'm going to set out on kind of doing all these projects that he's going to spend the rest of his life really devoted to helping others, and not like many wealthy people who obviously focus their attention on just passing the wealth down to their own children. We're really with this kind of traditional Jewish mindset of charity, and the money that we have is not ours. We simply hold it in trust for God, and He gives it to us so that we can give it to others. And I think that's part of the story about what Ramsgate is really all about, and what it kind of represents within what I'm sure is kind of a painful story for the Montefiores. Because we know how much he was devoted to her, and indeed even after she passes, many years before Sir Moses dies, there are stories that he would often come into the mausoleum with a chair and would sit there, saying prayers and just kind of being close to Lady Judith. And then of course when he passes, he was laid to rest next to her. But of course, there's another element to the fact that this looks like a building out of Israel. Someone said, "Oh, it looks, so Middle Eastern." Well, it's meant to, and that's that. Of course, Israel was a major focus of Sir Moses. We know about his works together with the Turo family in America of constructing Mishkanot Sha'ananim, the first modern Jewish settlement outside of the city walls, and of course, the influence of Montefiore has with. Then Yamin Moshe is in his honor, and Ohel Moshe, and Maskeret Moshe, and all these neighborhoods in Jerusalem that are called Moses. It's not after Moshe Rabbeinu, it's after Moses Montefiore that all those neighborhoods are built in his memory and in his honor. And so Israel, as we mentioned, he used dirt from Israel in the foundation of the synagogue. And tradition is that they laid Sir Moses to rest, that beneath his head they put a stone. And apparently that stone was given to Sir Moses on his visit to Jerusalem as one of the stones from the temple site. And that actually has a piece of the Beit HaMikdash walls that he's laid to rest on. And of course, lots of earth that was brought from Israel that was used also in his burial. Even his burial cap that he wore was apparently a gift to him from the Jews of Jerusalem. And so that was his context, was the Holy Land, and so to be laid to rest in a building that resembles such an important burial place in Israel, I think meant a great deal to the Montefiore. So we're going to go into the mausoleum. We'll spend a little bit of time In there, we'll say the memorial prayer, of course, for them. Just read, it says over here, that this is the verse that says, in his hands I transfer my spirit, my soul, right? In the hands of God, in the times when I lie down and when I wake up. And that connection to God, which was really so important they really attribute to Lady Judith, that she was a deeply pious person, really ended up influencing so much of the life that they lived. And that idea that both in life and in death, they felt connected to God was something that was so important to them. And I'll just kind of close my remarks before we go inside to say that, when Sir Moses dies, nearly at 101 years old, so at his shloshim, his longtime servant and then principal of the Montefiore College, Dr. Lowy, gave a speech, and he said, when Moshe Rabbeinu died, he gave the authority over to Joshua, and Joshua filled his place to carry on the mission. And he said, Sir Moses didn't have children. He had nobody to take his place, and there's nobody else like Montefiore. So he said it's our job that we all each be a little bit of a Joshua, that we all kind of take it upon ourselves to help continue some aspect of what Sir Moses was dedicated in his life, and that way through our actions, while we may not be Montefiore's, but through our actions we can all help carry on his legacy into the future. So thank you all for coming. Let's go inside. נגד בני אדם, מה יקר חס אלוהים ובני אדם בדגנתך יחסיון, ירמיון מדג'ן ביתך ונענה תשכם, תושם משם טוב יומם וליום יבלתו, סוף דבר לכל נשמע, אדוני בחיים תודה שמור מזה כל האדם, ילדו חסידים בכבוד, רנו על משכבותם, מנוחה נכונה בשיבה ליונה, דאגן לברינה מלאק קדושים ודורים, Mizarya, Miri Mazilu, Davi Marada Shami, Beharchakat Pesha, Bekravat Yesha, Lamam Haninam, Dinesh, Open Yona, Vehulakata, Balechaye, Olam Haba, Shabdei, Minat Mizajvat, Nefesh Hashem Atov, Hayashish, Hanichbad, Hasar, Moshe, Yosef, Elio Montefiore, Ruach Adonai, Tinichanu Began Eden, Lit Vitar Minal Maden, Girogalam Reshmaya Be'arda, Amelech, Rahamam Yodavol, Allah, Yilavela Shalom, Al Mishkavoi Yeshalom, Kirichtiv, Yavo Shalom, Yenuvam Yodam Aleneho, Behold Israel, Ashalim, B'chol Shochnei Mo Yisrael, B'chol Ha'gras Elichot, V'chei Ratzon, Amen. Hashem ha'mitzvah, Racham Mi'licha, V'yudlam V'yandeh, V'losh V'maseh, Rachmanah, Rachmanah D'Dili, U'v'chei Rum Ha'yam Ha'dehatei, U'gnaz V'zarganyom, V'aznyom, V'yadam, V'yodei, U'v'chei Gubei Yamam Yaganu Dufran, Aisha, Ha'udat Vatani Benet, Marat, Azgena, Berat, Yehudim, Lord, Adonai D'Lechana, Began Eden, the Idar Rabbi Negra Shmaya Virga, Amel, Rabbi Yom Olam, Yelech Shalom, Yeshalom, Yedi Shalom.